Welcome back, everybody, to the ERL Round. We will be shortly starting qualifying for the feature race. After watching a phenomenal quali race, then be interesting to see what these guys can do. Obviously, you're going to have your people like Smiley. He's going to be very fast. SD going to be very fast. Dad boosted, very fast driver. Filthy just finished second in the quali race. Was the fastest driver on track, but Air played a really brave strategy call and it paid off and he got the win. Gloss is going to be up there. All these boys can be up there this week. It'll be I think it'll be a battle of attrition as well through the death chicane. We'll get this quali underway for the guys. Let's see what we've got going on, who's going to be at the front, who's going to be starting from pole. Just before we get going, everybody at ERL would just like to wish Shippo's wife Nat a speedy recovery. She's been in the hospital this week quite a bit, so fingers crossed we can get her out of there soon and she can get well quickly. That's why Shippo's not here tonight. He's obviously in the hospital with his wife. We'll go out with these guys then. Who we got out first? We got Specs. We'll go on with him. This is the brother of SD. So SD and Specs brothers. Their other brother Steve-O is in the GT class, but not racing tonight. Serving a race ban, so he won't be featuring this evening. Specs raced in the Sprint Cup yesterday as well. He finished third. His brother SD finished second. So those two guys to watch. Obviously they're in different vehicles. No tyre wear. So obviously a completely different race. Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you, Ronnie. It's good to shame you're not in this, but you've definitely picked the right week to stay out of it with that death chicane. These guys heading round now on the out lap. They will only get 2 laps in here, I think, to get these laps done. Filthy was your fastest qualifier from that GT class with a 1:36. I think it was a 1:36.7 lap time, which is very fast. These guys are going to be, these pro guys are going to be there or thereabouts, but that is an extremely fast lap for this track. I'm not sure how much of a problem he's going to have because he has got a driver in front of him. Obviously, clean air is better here than the dirty air. We'll go on board with Specs for this lap. Watch how difficult this track is. Come through the pointless T1, heavy braking now down into the chicane here. Rumbles over the curb there. You have to be very gentle on the power through here because as the car gets light over the top of that hill, it can become very snappy. Accelerating now up into this corner, very difficult corner. He stays flat through it, which is brave. You can take a bit too much curb there on either side and it will pitch the car completely sideways. Over the hill now under the bridge and back down towards this long S-bend section here. Now you have to get the run out of here because this will carry your speed all the way up through this section and up this hill, which is a massive gainer or loss of time through here. As he comes up to the peak of the hill now, 150 mile an hour over the peak. He'll be heavy braking zone at about the 150 board. There we go. Heavy braking, shifts down into second here. Gets the nose in. Nice smooth acceleration out of here. Now through the most dangerous corner on the track, if not the most dangerous corner in the GT game, the death chicane. Here he goes, very committed, stays on throttle. Has to lift there and makes a connection with the wall. That is going to lose him time. He will now hemorrhage time all the way down into this corner after that connection with the wall. Down into second now for the final right. He's going to hook the curb, push out all the way to the outside curb, get on the throttle now as heavy as he can, push all the way up to the line. 1:37.7, it's a respectable lap time. I would imagine people will go faster. There you go, Dad and Honden gone faster already. We'll go back a little bit with these guys. Dad has set a 1:37.5, good lap time. Penelope is not here this week. She has chosen to leave the league, unfortunately, after after a decision by the stewards last week. Penelope decided to leave the league, unfortunately. Obviously, we wish her the best in whatever she does going forward. Very fast driver. Shame to lose her from the league, but it was the decision she made. So these guys now will be pushing on. Dad here in the first position at the minute. Follow him, we'll go on board. See what he can do through this lap. He's got Filthy just in front of him. Your pole position from the GT class. Smiley now onto provisional pole. He's gone nearly 2 tenths faster. These lap times not as fast as the GT class. Big collision with the wall from Filthy then. Will that have upset Dad through that section? Will he have had to lift? Soon see now as he comes through this last corner. That is going to be damage for Filthy as well. That's not what he's going to have wanted. This is going to be the last lap for these guys. Up to the line, Specs has gone even faster. Specs into provisional pole with a 1:37.2 at the minute. Dad in second. Smiley now halfway through his lap. We'll go on board with Smiley. Nice and wide out onto the curb. This is now going to be our championship favourite, I would imagine. He has inherited the lead now of the championship. He looks faster here. He is just purple. This could be very interesting what he does now, because through this chicane, how committed is he going to be? Great line. I'm hoping Panda was obviously ghosted then, but that will have definitely put Smiley off there. Andy made a connection with the wall. I'll be amazed to see Smiley go faster here after a collision with the wall, but we never know. We don't know what Specs did. We weren't on board with him when he set his lap. Smiley up to the line. He does go faster with a 1:37.2. Smiley onto pole. Specs will be very happy with that into second. Great qualifying position from him. Definitely his fastest qualifying of the season. He will be more than happy with that. Dad into third, actually first of the GT class guys. He'll be very happy with that. Battling for a championship with Panda, so he'll be very happy to qualify third. Honden into fourth with that front damage there. SD into fifth. Second place driver in the Sprint Cup yesterday, and was the fastest driver on track during that. Had an unfortunate mistake which caused him to crash. Go on and check these results. Give you the full lowdown now. We got Rico in the lead, which is Smiley, followed by Specs, Dad Leisure in third, Honden fourth, SD12 in fifth, Just Filthy in sixth, Panda in seventh, Asriel eighth, Apex ninth, Harge 10th, Highfield in 11th, Air 12th, BB 13th, Boosted in 14th. He won't be happy with that. Arguably our fastest driver, one of our fastest driver in the league now. Definitely within the top three of the fastest. Will not be happy with starting 14th. He started 15th last week at Spa. Managed to work his way up into third and then was promoted to second. So with Gloss bringing up last, obviously some connection with the wall there, he will not be happy with that. After qualifying second in the GT category in the last race, he will not be happy with that position, but this is definitely going to be a war of attrition for these guys. There was we're not going to go into it, Viola, but there was a report put in about a pass that wasn't seen. The stewards opted to put a penalty Penelope's way, which moved her down 2 positions just simply because of how close the finish was, and she made the decision to leave the league due to that. It's a shame, but it is what it is. We'll continue. We're not going to say anything more about it. We wish her the best of luck, but it just is what it is. So we give these guys 5 minutes now. Let them all go to the toilet, go get ready, do whatever they want to do. Just put a message in for them, let them know what time we're starting. Boosted in the chat there, the NSX is rubbish on this track. Yeah, this it's going to be a big thing, I think. Certain cars doing certain things through this track. The Mercedes still looks strong, obviously, there. You've got Specs in second, Dad in third. So the Mercedes still looking like a strong car. Smiley in the Porsche up front. We know that Porsche is normally always good, very balanced. Jag, there's a big group of different cars there in this championship. Scott saying Meta there, yeah. Is that because his brother's qualified in front of him, do we think? Scott being SD12 is in the Aston. Filthy in the Nismo, which has been very good in the GT race, and he's practiced this week, seen him practice a few times this week. He's been absolutely rapid in that car. Pando always fast in the Ferrari. We know it did suffer with tyre wear quite substantially, but I'm not sure how bad it is now after the update. Azrael in the Renault. Apex McLaren. Harge and another Mercedes there. Highfield a Jag. Air the only Genesis. Another McLaren there with Bibby. Boosted in the NSX, which he's saying is not very good at this track, so may play a big factor in tonight for him. And Gloss in the Corvette. That time there is definitely not representative of what Gloss in that car can do after just seeing him in the GT race a minute ago. Definitely not representative of Gloss or the car there. Real good mixture of cars in this grid now. Lots of different cars. Lots of different driving styles. It's really good to see. This update has definitely shaken everything up in this league. The physics have completely changed. The car setups have completely changed. The Aston looks the best. Yes, Scott, we all know you are an Aston Martin lover. That Aston Martin, you could put Aston Martin on the side of a bean tin, and Scott SD would say it is by far the best bean tin in the world. Funnily enough, only Scott using the Aston, very fast in a straight line, but also very understeery. From what I've spoken to of Scott, he says Aston's become extremely understeery through the corners. Big heavy front end on that car, so since the update, difficult to get the nose pitched in on those corners. I think the same with the Merc. The Merc's very heavy front ended. It's a good mixture there. So we just saw an absolute masterclass from Air in the GT class, running one of the only drivers to take the medium strategy. Didn't pit at all. The other guys in front of him pitted, and he managed to hold on and take the win with just under a 1 second lead by the end. Filthy was obviously closing in very quickly on fresh softs towards the end, but he pitted and gave Air that big lead. These guys have got the 1 minute to go now, and we'll be away. That Porsche is notoriously slow off the get-go, so we could see Smiley shuffled down to third, fourth off the start. I think those Mercs are a lot better off the jump. I'm not sure about the Jag. I think that's probably better. The Aston also not the best off the jump. One car that is very, very good off the mark is Gloss's Corvette. We could see that make up positions. Boosted NSX, not great off the line. We could see Gloss make quite an inroad into these guys. Panda in the GT class in that Ferrari, which is a rocket ship off the line, went from 7th to 3rd, so we may see him attempt that again. We'll get this race underway for these guys. Oh, Nagel, give me 1 minute. We'll give him a minute. Let him get back. We don't want to start without any of these guys being ready. Done. That was fast. Here we go then, guys. Get these guys on grid. 38 laps. Dragon Trail Seaside. It's gonna be a battle of attrition here. If you pick up engine damage through that chicane, it's going to be a long old slog to drag your car back round to the pits. This race could be won on people not crashing. I know it sounds silly, but it really is pivotal that people stay clean through the here. See, Smiley's lost some time off the line there. He's been jumped by Specs into the lead. That's right, Viola, don't mess up at all. Specs into the lead here. Honden's managed to work his way around the outside into second. Pushed off slightly there, but has he managed to keep the position? No, he's been bumped right back there. Little bit of a collision. SD managed to work his way up into third here, with Dad in second. Good start from these guys. Big loser here out of all this, which we knew it would be, a Smiley. He's been shuffled right back. Honden was second going through that first corner. Unfortunately, he got pushed onto the curb a little bit and lost a lot of time. He's now got Panda onto the back of him. These guys all filtered. There we go. Gloss up to 12th already. We said that Corvette would be fast off the line. Boosted into 14th. Bibby at the back at the minute. Specs is absolutely trying to run away at the minute with a 1.2 second lead. He is trying to run away from Dad and his brother SD. First lap through the death chicane. Is everybody going to make it through cleanly? Specs throws it into the first section, into the second section, over the curbs, gets through cleanly. Dad is clean. Looked like a slight collision with the wall there from SD. No damage done, so it might just be a small bit of damage there. SD up the inside here. Smiley still sitting in 4th. Panda into 5th. Honden in 6th. Haas 7th. Filthy 8th. Highfield 9th. Azrael just been overtaken by Gloss. Gloss has had a storming first lap. Gained 5 positions on this first lap. That's phenomenal driving from Gloss there. We knew he'd be faster after seeing him in the GT quali race. We knew that pace in quali was not representative of him or that car. Specs driving absolutely phenomenally at the minute and getting away from these guys. A 1.7 second lead now. If he can pull and pull and pull, these guys are really going to struggle to catch up with him. Steve-O, his brother, cheering him on here from the crowd. Come on, Specs. 2 second lead now. He is pushing like mad. Dad here at the front of a train. Smiley, little bit of a connection with the back of Scott there. Nothing too bad, no pass made, so nothing lost, nothing gained really. Just a little bit of bumping and barging. It comes to be expected with GT racing, but as long as it all stays on track and fair, that's fine. Smiley diving up the inside of Scott here. Pushes SD wide. I think we may see that into the reports channel at the end of this race. He did push Scott wide there. We'll have to see what goes on. Panda and Smiley now side by side through the chicane. I don't know if Smiley is trying to let SD back through after that bit of collision. Yes, he has. That is the right thing to do. Well played from Smiley there. He let Scott back through after the collision at the bottom of the hill. He has relinquished that position. He's actually lost 2 positions in that really. He was up to 3rd with it, but now he's back down to 5th. Scott obviously lost a position during that, with Panda being the winner of that position, managed to get himself up into third, which you'll be very happy with. Hondon here onto the back of Smiley. Will we see a move from Hondon now? These guys bunching up so much, they're just costing each other time. This is the problem, when you battle, you cost each other time. Smiley here, surely he's not going to go for a move into this right-hander. No, he does the right thing, he stays behind Scott. There we go, we'll go on passenger seat with Smiley. Good acceleration out of there, that Aston looked quick over the hill. Scott now going to be onto the back of Panda as they come through these S-bends. Panda's Ferrari looking very settled there, the Aston looking settled. Smiley had to back out of that a little bit, out the throttle a little bit there, with a Scott very loose on the curb there. Aston's throwing up a load of sparks there as the floor touches. Let's go back up front, see what's going on. Dad now is slowly, I think, starting to catch Specs. Yeah, he's slowly starting to catch him. Dad and Specs now with a 2.9 second lead to the cars behind, 3 second lead to Panda behind. Dad, here we go. Scott and Panda door bashing all the way down into this corner. Scott's going to have the inside line. He's going to have to give Panda room though. Panda stays in it round the outside. Very brave from Panda there. Very fair from Scott. That's what we like to see. These guys are going to be pushing each other. We will see definitely Scott dive out again here. He dives out to the left, which means he's going to be the inside coming into this turn, into this chicane here. Panda's squeezing. Scott on the late on the brakes here. Manages to work his way back through in front of Panda. Panda trying to square him off here. Scott just manages to get his car in the way of Panda and close that door. Panda is going to be looking for a pass back here. It's a bit unsettled there. Oh, has to run the curb into that corner. I think that braking caught him out there. He's now lost a position to Smiley with that mistake. Smiley on the inside here. Panda has to relinquish that position. Smiley inherits that place there through a mistake from Panda. He won't be happy with that. He's straight back onto the back of Smiley there. Smiley seems to be having some issues through that sector. Loses a bit of time through those S-bends every lap. Will Panda dive to the inside? Yes, he does. Smiley late enough on the brakes. Oh, Scott has ran himself wide here. We are not going to see 3 wide through here, surely. Smiley closed off by these guys, pinched in the middle. We are seeing them. No, they both filtered back in here. That was the right decision. You are not going to be able to go 2 or 3 wide through here. Smiley has to get out the throttle there due to Panda losing the back end a little bit through the death chicane. Here we go, Smiley up the inside. Who's this on the outside now? We've got Hondon has joined the party round the outside. He's going to get a lovely run out of here in that Jag. He's going to dip right into that slipstream of Panda and Smiley. Panda desperately trying to stay in that slipstream from Smiley. Who is going to make the move here? They're all going to try and make a move. Hondon drops back in there. Panda darts back out to the inside. Goes for the move up the inside. Backs out of it there. Gets the square off. Not quite close enough to make the move on Panda there. Who have we got behind? Gloss has managed to work his way up into 7th position now. Great drive from Gloss. Started in last position. Has worked his way back up through the field into 7th. Great drive. Haj in 8th. Not enjoying the driving experience since the update. Hopefully he can get back on form. Filthy, our fastest driver from the GT qualification race, struggling down in 9th. Just hasn't been able to make any inroads into these guys up front. Boosted into 10th now after starting a long way down the field. Struggling with that NSX around this track, so he'll just be trying to minimise the damage of this race, I think. The winner of the GT qualification race in 11th. Azrael 12th, Apex 13th, BB 14th, Highfield with damage down in 15th. We have a yellow flag. That has got to be through the death chicane, surely. Who is it? Well, Boosted's been promoted to 9th, so who's it going to be? It's Haj. Harsh has had an incident through the death chicane. Look at that damage. All the front of that car damaged. Will we see him pit here to get rid of it? He's going to have to, yeah. Specs with a 1.5 second lead here. Still managing to hold the lead. Dad making small inroads into him. Not massive. These guys have got a 5 second lead over SD. He will be desperately trying to close that down, but these guys in these Mercs at the front are absolutely flying at the minute. We say the Merc's the cheater car every week when talking about Dad. Now we can say it's definitely the cheater car with Specs and Dad up there. Bans for both of them in the next race, I think. No, since the update, I think all the cars have been levelled out a bit more. Merc has always been a good choice. I think it has had a bit of a nerf since the update, so I don't think it's quite as easy to drive as it was, but these guys are doing a phenomenal job driving it at the minute. 1.1 second between them, that can be certainly made up and lost through this chicane. Matthew inch perfect through that corner then. Pulls a small bit more of an advantage on Dad, not a lot though, not noticeable. They are pulling away from SD behind, who in turn has Smiley within a second behind him. Smiley on mediums though, that could be the difference between these lap times. Smiley choosing the medium tyre, all the front runners on softs. That will be the difference. I would say Smiley sitting in a very advantageous position here as these guys start funneling into the pits in not too long. Smiley is going to be able to stay out there. Panda in 5th on softs, followed by the next medium runner of Honda. Gloss going for the inside move there. Honda runs himself wide there into the corner, makes a slight bit of connection coming back on with Gloss, but nothing gained or lost there. Obviously, Gloss makes the position up there. Filthy here has boosted all over the back of him. Filthy, the fastest driver in that GT category race earlier, has damage on the front. That will not be helping him. Boosted also on mediums as well. He's playing a very similar strategy. Very similar strategy to Smiley here. Obviously a lot further down the field after a poor qualifying, but he will be trying. He's going to be trying to get past these guys, and then on their medium tyres he's going to extend that stint. Maybe trying to go one less pit stop than everybody else. We'll see how it all pans out after the first stops. Dad now really starting to close Specs in. He's within 8/10 of Specs at the minute, within that slipstream. We'll be getting dragged along now in that slipstream. He's just in it. It will definitely help him. Let's have a look at the two tyre wear. Tyre wear very similar. I will say Specs' tyres look slightly more worn than Dad's. These guys keeping it very clean, very consistent lap times. They now have a 6.1 second lead on Scott, who in turn has a 1.8 second lead on Smiley. Smiley looks like he may have lost a bit of time to Scott and Panda here. Smiley very sideways out of that corner, but doesn't seem to lose a lot of time with it. We'll go back up front because we could have a battle for the lead here. Under half a second now. Dad is going to be pushing on here to get past. Go on board with him. Good run through for the first section of that. Gets a bit unsettled through the curbs. In that slipstream though, he is pulling back up to the back of Specs. He's not going to be able to get a move done down here. He's just too far behind. He's definitely going to have to follow through that. Oh no, Specs is ran wide. He's dagging. No, not wide enough. He is going to have to follow through here. The dirty air, terrifying when you're coming through this death chicane. Really can pull you offline. There we go. That's Dad into the wall. That's going to be damage. He's not going to be able to fix that until he pits. That is going to have a massive effect on Dad's race and a big effect on the fight for the lead here. Specs is still inch perfect, has no damage. Dad has front damage. He will be losing time here, I would imagine. It's going to be difficult for him with that damage to make inroads into Specs now. He's going to have to hold on now to the pits to get rid of that damage. SD in third. Very, very heavily worn front left. No damage for him. Smiley has picked up damage on that front left corner. Still on their mediums, so he's not going to be getting rid of that damage for a while because he's going to obviously want to extend his stint. And he's lost the back end there. Panda is going to be getting closer and closer. Smiley needs to be careful here. He is on the better tyre. He's sitting in fourth on a tyre that is going to go longer. But he is making mistakes. He has damage and he keeps making mistakes. He cannot afford to make those mistakes because if he picks up too much damage, he's going to lose all that tyre advantage. He's going to lose through hemorrhaging time with damage. Because you can't, with the heavy damage model, you cannot get rid of that damage until you pit. Panda's going to be on the back of him here. Nice wide line in from Panda there, very smooth. Gets on the throttle nicely there. He's going to have to be thinking about pitting soon with these tyres. We know the Ferrari famous for not the best tyre wear. Inch perfect through there. Bit unsettled coming out, but is he going to get the run on Smiley here? The aero damage should be affecting Smiley's top line speed, but it doesn't seem to be. Runs wide on the marbles here. He's going to try and get the cut back. SD decides to dart for the pits there, so we've got SD into the pits, we've got Dad into the pits also. He's going to get rid of that damage and that first set of tyres. I'd imagine it's not going to be long until we see Specs fold into the pits as well to cover these guys off. Smiley's obviously going to go on these mediums, and Panda's going to go on in these softs. I'd imagine we're going to see Panda in next lap. Smiley going to go on these mediums with this damage. How much time is he going to lose with this damage though? This is going to be the question everybody wants to know. How much time is Smiley going to hemorrhage with that damage? These guys coming back out the pits, what are they coming back out on? Gloss up into fourth now. We've boosted right at the back of him here. Boosted also on medium tyres, so he's playing the strategy call. If he can get up here with Smiley with no damage, it's going to certainly be a big battle. Gloss staying in it here with Honda just behind him, also a medium driver. Gloss on the softs, he is going to have to pit this lap. Look at that front left corner, completely worn. He is going to have to pit. Fingers crossed he doesn't make any mistakes through this chicane now. That chicane on that front tyre is not going to be a fun entry. Honda manages to make the move on him there. Gloss is definitely losing time here on this tyre. Let's make sure he gets through this chicane safely. He's going to have to creep it through. Makes it through there. Slight contact with the wall, but nothing bad. Boosted up to fourth now and pushing on hard. Specs here chooses to go again, another lap. I was convinced we would see Specs dive into the pits there. Panda in the background diving into the pits. Smiley obviously still going on these mediums. Boosted now into third position in this race on this medium compound. Zero damage, not a lot of wear. Lap times over a second faster than Smiley per lap. So at the minute, within 3 or 4 laps, Boosted is going to be on the back of Smiley. After saying he wasn't too impressed with this NSX, he is certainly driving it well at the minute. Honda also on that medium strategy, right on the back of Boosted. He's going to be a contender for this as well. I think that medium strategy is the better call. Those softs just don't go as long. They just don't seem to be working. Air into fifth, another medium runner. Azrael out there on hard, so Azrael is taking a real strategy gamble. We don't see many drivers in this league at all on hard tyres, so he may be trying to do even less stops than the medium runners. SD back out on softs. I'm surprised. I would have seen him change to mediums, but this is going to be this is obviously just going to be a 2-stop. It's going to be a 3-stop, isn't it, for Scott? Panda out there just behind him in 8th. Dad now down into 9th after picking up that damage. So Dad obviously has been jumped in the pits by SD and Panda. He would have been fixing his damage. Gloss down into 13th after coming back out the pits now. Haas 14th. Highfield 14th. Haj in 15th. Specs goes another lap. He's really trying to extend this this stint. Soft tyres are completely worn now, and he's still motoring on. He's not really losing a lot of time to Smiley either. Smiley obviously trundling around with that damage. Well, not trundling, he's pushing around with that damage on those medium tyres. He's now got Boosted 4.3 seconds behind him. Boosted only making a 10th up in that lap. That's not going to be enough for him. He's going to want to make more. He's going to need to make more of that up to be onto the back of Smiley. Hondon still sitting there just behind. Air now getting onto the back of Hondon. We're going to see this battle close up, I think. Our winner from the GT qualification race stomping back up through the field now. Started, he wasn't there, and now as these pits are going on, he's more and more and more getting closer to the front, up into 5th position now. SD 9 seconds behind these guys. He's managed to work his way around Azrael and has managed to get Azrael in between him and Panda now through this sector. Panda will be losing time through this sector now, trying to make a move on the hard runner. Those soft. Panda also has front damage again, also has front and suspension damage. He must have had a collision with the wall somewhere there. That is not going to do him any favours. This whole stint again on damage. Dad in 9th on medium tyres. He's opted to change off them softs and try the medium for this stint. Filthy on softs now. On softs again, so he's going for another stint. There we go, guys. Leader of the race into the pits. Specs, which has released Smiley into the lead. And look at how much Boosted has closed in on this lap. Last time we looked, Boosted was 4 seconds behind Smiley. He's now only 2.5. Slow lap from Smiley there and a fast lap from Boosted. Dark might go to the end. He might do, Steve-O. It's going to be a big push even on those hard tyres, and it's how much time you lose in the meantime because they're not the best. You know, the performance doesn't feel great on them. So Smiley into the lead here, 2.5 seconds with damage in front of Boosted. These guys are both on the same strategy. Boosted's tyres look slightly better than Smiley's, and obviously Boosted does not have that damage that Smiley has. Hondon still sitting there in 3rd. Great drive from him at the minute. Pushing on. Air into 4th now. SD in 5th on these softs. These soft runners are going to end up pitting about the same time as the mediums by the look of it again. Softs are going to be wearing quick. This Aston also pretty heavy on its tyre wears. Azrael has now dropped behind Panda. Panda up into 6th position with that damage. Azrael still circulating on them hards with Dad on the mediums in 8th position. He'll be looking to push on here. He'll go longer than obviously the soft runners will in this stint. Specs in 9th now. Out on mediums. So that has cost Specs quite a lot of time there. That has cost Specs an awful lot of time, but obviously the offset of the pits will make the difference. We're not really going to know what's happening until these guys all come out the pits for the last time. These strategies so spread out and so different. We had Specs going on softs for a long time and now changing to mediums. He dragged those softs an awful long time. Hondon into the pits here. First of the medium runners into the pits is that. He has front damage. He's pitting there. Smiley now only 1.7 seconds out in front of Boosted. Boosted slowly working his way up to the back of Smiley. Here we are. I think we will see a battle for the lead shortly. That NSX sounds incredible on this game, to be honest. Braun GP livery there. A classic. Air now 5.8 seconds behind these two front runners. Boosted closing in quite quickly now. He's within the slipstream of Smiley now. If he can get through this chicane quickly, he's going to be really closing up to the back. Smiley hops over those curbs. Here we go, he's making up time now down this straight. Tyre wear still looking really good on that car. They're extending to the car behind. Here we go. He's closing and closing and closing. Smiley will not make it easy for him, we know that. He will not just move over and let him pass. That's a 1:38.2 personal best for Boosted in this race. At the minute, SD with the fastest lap of a 1:37.7. I'd imagine we will see those lap times come down as the fuel comes off these cars. Boosted right onto the back of Smiley here. We'll go on board with him for a little bit and see what he can do. Stays behind Smiley at the minute. Is he going to get the run over the top of the hill? That Porsche really planted out the corners. Remember, this Porsche has front aero damage. That will be hindering Smiley slightly. Smiley doesn't look as comfortable through this section as some of the others. Boosted really getting onto the back of him now. He's got a good run on him. We are definitely going to see a move here from Boosted. Pulls out to the right side early over the top of the hill. He's going to go for the late braking manoeuvre into this corner now. They are side by side. He manages to get it down the inside. Smiley trying to get the cut back here. He ends up just behind Boosted. Smiley pushing on here. These two need to definitely not make contact through this section. Boosted manages to pull a second through that chicane then. Pushed on really strongly through there. 2.5 seconds. Smiley must have had more of a problem. Yeah, he has more damage there. Smiley, I think we may see Smiley go into the pits with that damage now. No, he chooses to carry on. Is Air going to be able to catch him up now? Air is circulating really well still. No damage on mediums. Is he going to be able to make inroads to Smiley now with that damaged, the heavily damaged Porsche? Boosted now 3.2 seconds ahead. This is great for him at the minute. This is exactly what he would have wanted. He's worked his way up to the lead. Still got relatively good tyres. They're only 50% worn, I'd say. Very even wear. I know he said this car wasn't great in the pre-game, but it seems to be absolutely working for him at the minute. Smiley in second there. Air is starting to close on him now. That damage is making a difference. SD also starting to close in now on Air. Tyres starting to wear on that front left again on this Aston. Big heavy car on the front, suffering with understeer, he's telling me. So that will be pushing through the corners and causing a bit more wear than normal. Panda doing really well still with that damage. In no man's land now. He's 4.5 seconds off SD. 6 seconds in front of Dad. He does have damage, and he's managing it really well. He is still setting faster lap times than Dad, but Dad is on the medium tyre. It's going to be so interesting to see where all this plays out after the last stops. What's going to happen? Who's going to be where? Specs now has managed to work his way back past Azrael. He is on those fresh mediums. He started on softs, stormed out to a lead. We saw a faultless drive in that first stint for Specs. He's gone in, put the mediums on over the softs, and I mean, he has lost time to Dad. He has lost track position, but his tyre wear is better, so we may see some different strategy calls here towards the end. Azrael now still on hards, just being overtaken by Filthy. He's on softs. I'd imagine Filthy going to be needing to think about pitting in not so long. The grip loss is not what you want. Azrael still up the inside of him here. No, he lets him go. Azrael playing the long game on those hard tyres. Like Steve-O said, he may be going for a no stop. It's just how much time he loses in between those other guys stopping. Apex in 10th, now on softs. Gloss into 11th. Front left looking quite heavily worn again. Honda now out the pits. He's pitted onto fresh mediums. Was right up there, so obviously we don't know where he's going to come out at the minute with everybody still shuffling. Harsh with that front damage and out of mediums. 13th, Highfield with front damage on softs. Oh, big crash from Highfield there. Big crash from Highfield on the start straight. He nearly hits Bibby there, pulling back on track. I'd imagine he would have been ghosted then though. Boosted coming round to lap these guys with a 5.7 second lead on Smiley. Air now has managed to close that gap down between him and Smiley to 3 seconds. He is pushing, he is closing Smiley. Andy has a better tyre offset with no damage as well. Smiley is going to have to be thinking about pitting soon. Boosted definitely in the best position here, out in front, good tyre wear, no damage, comfortable, consistent lap times here. Good lap times from Boosted here. 6-second lead now to Smiley, 3 seconds in front of Air. Air's trying to work his way up there though. SD also pulling Air in as well, but those soft tyres, I'll tell you, these soft runners are going to be pitting twice to the medium runners. I would be very shocked to see SD not go on to mediums after this stint. Runs really wide there onto the gravel, manages to get back on course with minimal time loss really. Running very low on fuel there as well. His fuel's starting to tick down. We're going to see SD into the pits very shortly, I think. Within the next 2 laps he'll be in. Panda in 5th there, still circulating with that damage. Dad 6th on those mediums. He now has Specs onto the back of him on those fresher mediums. Also Specs going purple through these sectors here. We could see a new fastest lap. All very sideways from Specs there. That will lose him some time. Is he still going to be able to set the fastest lap? Specs, our early leader, was on softs, has chose to go onto these mediums. So realistically, we want, until Boosted and Smiley and Air go into these pits, we don't know where these guys are all going to come out. Specs now into the slipstream of Dad. He didn't set the fastest lap of the race, but he has just set a personal best lap. He'll be happy with that. He's motoring on. These guys trying to get round Highfield here, being lapped after that incident. He will get out these guys' ways as quickly as he can. There we go. Moves out the way. Specs now onto the back of Dad. Let's go on board. See if he makes a move around this sector now. Over the hill they go. Back down now into the S-bend. Pivotal point on the track. So much to gain and lose through here. Both of them look like they're on similar lines. Specs forced to lift a little bit through the second part of that there. Into the slipstream of Dad. He's not going to be close enough. Late braking, very late braking. Gains a lot of time under braking there. We may, if these boys can get through this chicane together, we may see a move down into the last corner. This dirty air's not going to be feeling nice for Specs though. He backs off early there. I think that was the right decision. Dragged him into the wall, no damage luckily. He's lost a bit of time to Dad there. Dad was a lot more tidy through that sector. So we got Smiley into the pits, we got Air into the pits. Boosted still going. So let's see where these guys come out, because remember, Specs was first when he went into the pits. He was in front of these guys. How much in front will he be now when he comes out? He's going to be quite a lot out in front. He is going to have a big gap on Smiley and Air. Here they go. Dad managing to pull a bit of a gap on Specs here. Smiley out now, out of the pits. He's lost the position to Air as well. He would have obviously repaired that damage. That would have definitely had a factor on it. He comes out just in front of SD. Also has pitted onto the mediums. This is closing this race right up now. SD only 2.2 seconds behind Smiley now, who in turn is 2 seconds behind Air. Air's working his way up through this field now through clever strategy, fast, smooth driving, not making any mistakes, no damage. And through these pit stops he's managing to get further and further up the field. Panda, I would imagine we're going to see diving into the pits pretty shortly, might be even this lap. Boosted choosing to go again here, I'm not surprised. Tyres still looking they're not great, but they're not too bad. Fuel's looking good. He's 21 seconds in the lead now. That will obviously be evaporated by the time he pits. But he will be on a single pit strategy though. He will definitely be on a single pit strategy. Be interesting to see how long he drags his stint, whether he goes for softs or mediums. I would imagine it'll be another set of mediums. Panda into the pit now. Another 2 seconds gain by Boosted there. Dad and Specs, I'd imagine we'll be trying a single stop strategy as well. Specs now right onto the back of Dad here. Our early race leader now trying to get back into second position. Azrael on that hard strategy now. Into fourth. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do the no stop because of the fuel. What a shame, because the tyres look good. It's just the fuel. He's not going to be able to get that car to the end on that fuel. No chance at all. He's going to have to pit very soon. That strategy doesn't look like it's going to work due to the fuel usage. Honda into fifth now on relatively fresh mediums. I can't see him pitting again. Air now has got Smiley all over the back of him. These guys will definitely not be pitting. Mistake from Air there, runs wide, loses the back end, has to correct. He's going to have Smiley all over him here. I would imagine we're going to see him move down into this corner. Smiley, I would imagine we'll see dart out to the right here. That Genesis very fast in a straight line though. No, Smiley chooses to stay behind. Definitely the right decision. He just was not close enough there to make a move. Onto the death chicane they go. They've got SD also closing in, 1 seconds behind, and Filthy closing in as well on that soft compound again. Smiley now losing a bit of time to Air down there. We must obviously didn't get the same run he wanted through the chicane. That dirty air definitely has an effect on these cars. What's going on at the front now? Boosted has gone again. Another lap. Nearly 24 seconds in front now of Dad. Oh, Specs has got damage here. That's not going to be no good for him. Do not want to be getting damage. I mean, it might not affect him too heavily. These guys have a 17-second lead on Azrael. They've got a big lead to people like Smiley, who managed to circulate with damage for most of that first stint. Air obviously is in front of Smiley. He hasn't got damage, but that is a big lead to close up. You've got 20 odd seconds there of lead for these guys to close up to get to Specs and Dad, if they can stay out without pitting again. Smiley now onto the back of Air again through the same sector as last time. SD also has pulled another 4/10 in here. He's going to want to get into that slipstream. Here we go again. Smiley's going to have another attempt at this. Exactly the same place as last time. Will he be able to get close enough to dive that Genesis so fast over the hill? No, Smiley not close enough again. Will he be able to close through the chicane, or will he lose time like he did last lap? He's got a great run out of here, but he's not going to be able to go side by side through here. Has to back out of it. Let's see what happens through here. He's right in the dirty air there. As you can tell, he's been pulled wide. Lost a lot of time there, so you could see the dirty air at work there. Dragged him off towards that barrier on the right hand side. He did really well not to make any connection with that barrier and cause some self damage. That'll bring SD right onto the back of him though. SD will be pushing like mad to get onto the back of Smiley now. Filthy's right there as well. Azrael finally into the pits off that hard strategy. Super unlucky with the fuel there. Just not going to work out for him with that strategy. Oh, Filthy hitting the curb there. That's going to affect him slowing down. Gets a good run out of there on these soft tyres. Is he going to be able to make these softs go the distance though? It's going to be a big ask to get those softs. Another 15 laps. I can't see it happening, to be honest. I think we'll definitely see Filthy have to pit again. SD, I'd imagine we will not see it again. Smiley will not pit. Air will not pit. Honda, I'd imagine, will not pit. Specs also, I think, will try and go to the end. As will Dad. It's going to be touch and go though. Dad, I don't think he's going to make it to the end on that fuel. Oh, no, neither Specs. So looks like these two are going to have to pit again. These two are going to have to pit again by the looks of it. I cannot see that fuel making it to the end of this race. They do have a 20-second lead on Honda and a 25-second lead to Air, so when these guys come out the pits, it's going to be very close. But are they going to go on to softer tyres, come out slightly in front of these guys and have a big tyre advantage? That's what they're going to be hoping for. Boosted still going now, very low on fuel. He's going to have to think about pitting soon. He's 25 seconds out in front. Specs into second place now. He obviously dived up the inside of Dad there. How long are these guys going to choose to go now before? I'd imagine they're going to come back and go out on softs. They do not want to be losing time to people like Honda and Smiley and SD though, because those guys, when these lads choose to pit, are going to be either just behind them or just in front of them. It's all going to depend on the rest of this stint. Specs now starting to pull away from Dad. He's got slightly better tyre wear than Dad, but he has got that damage. Honda in fourth. I don't think we'll see Honda pit again. He's coming up to lap the back of Highfield now. Smiley in fifth there. Where's Air gone? Air with damage. He must have made a mistake through the chicane, I'd imagine. He's dropped a few positions. Filthy now onto the back of SD on those softer tyres. He's going to want to get past here and not be held up. Here we go. SD covering the inside. That's good defending from SD. Covers the inside. Filthy's going to try and stay in it around the outside and get the cut back. SD positioned his car extremely well there to cover that off. Force Filthy around the outside and then took the racing line away. Filthy through here now. Boosted chooses to go on to softs. Boosted out the pits on softs. This is definitely your net race leader, I'd say. These guys I cannot see making it to the end. They're Boosted here. I think he's played a great strategy here. He's out on softs. He's got plenty of fuel. 13 laps to go. I mean, he could have definitely come out on mediums if he wanted to, but he would have worked out which strategy he wants to play. I'd imagine it won't take him long to cruise up to the back of Dad and Specs. Specs now with a 1.2 second lead at the front. Honda comfortably in fourth here. Smiley in fifth. He's now got SD pushing up to the back of him here. Second behind. Filthy still in the back of SD here. Still can't make a move. Will these softs go to the end? I doubt it. That front left and front right look to be wearing quite heavily. We know Filthy's a bit of a tyre whisperer though. He does always seem to get these tyres to go longer than normal. Unfortunately picked up some damage, so it's going to be a struggle for him to make up any time here. He's lost a few positions, which is unlucky. Panda in ninth here on mediums. He's going to want to be trying to push onto the back of Air here and get onto the back of these guys. Super fresh mediums, so be looking good for him to maybe make up some time and make up some places. Specs into the pits here. What is Specs going to do here? Obviously he's going to come out on softs. Where is he going to come out though? This is going to be Tallinn here. Let's stay on with Specs and see where he comes out. Is he going to come out in front of Honda? Is he going to come out in front of Smiley? Is he choosing to repair that damage? So he's out. Oh, he's going to have a big loss here. What tyres he put on? He's out on softs. Damage repaired. He's out behind Air. Is Panda going to be able to get him now coming down here? Oh no, there's Panda. Oh, Panda's made a mistake. It must have been through the chicane. He's dropped back now behind Apex. So Specs out on those fresh softs now. He's going to want to push on here. Air in 7th is not going to stop again. So Specs is going to have to work his way through 8th. Through all of these guys here. If he wants to get anywhere back up near the front, that is a big ask here. There's a lot of time to gain through there. Boosted out here onto the back of Dad. Will Dad pit here? What is Dad going to do? Boosted completely sideways through that corner then. Very, very lucky to catch that. Very good save. I say lucky, could have been skill, but it was a good catch either way. You'd have seen this wind flash before his eyes then. I mean, he's miles out in front after Dad decides to peel into the pits. He's going to have a 16-second lead. The lights are going on and off for Boosted here. Dad staying in front. Boosted very patient. He knows he doesn't need to rush. Knows he doesn't need to rush this. You can see he's got the grip advantage. You can see he's got the speed advantage. Probably knows Dad's going to have to pit again. You can just sit behind for the minute, play it calm, pick his passing spot and then execute. All Boosted needs to do now for me is stay clean. No silly incidents. No damage, just... He bumps the curb there, see what I mean? It can all go wrong there. He rides the curb there, that unsettled the car quite a lot. He needs to be patient here, he doesn't need to rush this. Gets to the inside here. Here we go. Oh, he does the right thing there and backs out. I was not sure if any of those two were going to back out there. Dad forcing Boosted to back out. Boosted across those curbs. This will be it now, I'd imagine. Boosted's going to dart out to the right. There we go. Last minute dive to the right. Into the lead. Boosted again. Dad into the pits here. He's obviously going to come out on that softer tyre. I think he would have lost out to Specs here. So that's Boosted off into the lead. He's going to have a very big lead by the time Dad comes out the pits. Honda into the pits as well. I am surprised at that. Did he pick up damage? I'm surprised Honda pitted there with those tyres. I'd have thought he'd have tried to drag those out another 9 laps. Very surprised at that. Specs now promoted into 6th position. Working his way past Air. Air obviously has that damage. Specs has the tyre advantage. Into 5th now for Specs. He's going to want to get up the road now and try and get onto Filthy. I think we're going to have to see Filthy pit again here. I cannot see Filthy doing another 10 laps on these tyres. It's not going to happen. SD into 3rd now. He's not going to pit again. Very good position from him here. Good race, good strategy calls. Pitted at the right time. As long as he can stay clean here. As I say that, he runs extremely wide. Very brave over that curb. Smiley in 2nd place here. No damage, but he is 18 seconds off Boosted here. Boosted started in 14th position. Has managed to work his way up to the lead and has gained himself an 18-second lead. Great drive from Boosted. Nearly won last week from the back. He's definitely asserting himself as one of the fastest, if not the fastest driver now. New to the league. He's done 2 or 3 races with us. Good addition to the league as well. SD there, 3rd. Is that Filthy? I see diving into the pits. Filthy into the pits, so that's going to use Specs up to 4th. Is Specs going to be able to close his brother in? Is he going to be able to pull in 6.8 seconds? He's set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:37.5. That is 1.2 seconds faster than his brother at the minute. If he keeps going at that sort of pace and that sort of pace difference, it's going to be very close with his brother by the end. His brother now working his way up to the back of Smiley. He managed to pull a little bit of time in. I think he's now got Bibby in between him. Is Bibby going to move out of the way here? Because Bibby's obviously a back marker. Bibby doesn't have to move out of the way. The rules for blue flags for ERL is the passing car is the one who needs to make the move. The car you are lapping is not obliged to move out the way. Obviously a lot of these drivers when they're being lapped, would move out the way, but they do not have to if they're battling, or even if they don't want to. They do not have to move out their way. They are not obliged to pull over for the faster vehicle. Boosted now with a 19-second lead, closing up to the back to lap Harge here. Harge giving him a nice tow down this straight. Fastest lap now for Boosted, a 1:37.5. He's absolutely flying on these soft tyres. As I just said, Harge does not need to move out of his way. It's Boosted's responsibility to get past cleanly. As the lights come on here, we all know how good this game looks, especially when the transitions between day and night happen. Very good graphic model, very immersive. Tracks look incredible, cars look incredible. They look even better when the lights start coming on. This is my favourite visuals at the minute. When the lights come on, it's dusk. You can still see the cars properly. 20.5 seconds ahead he is now. He's flashing Harge to get out of the way. Harge brakes early there. Boosted manages to get up the inside of him. Smiley now in second. He's got 1.9 seconds over SD behind. Specs is closing this gap down quickly. It's down to 4 seconds now. He is pushing like a madman here to catch his brother. The three brothers between them do not give each other an inch. It is a battle of pride between these guys. He's gone nearly 3/10 purple through the second sector here. He is going to be pushing like a madman to catch his brother up. He's going to want to take that podium away from his brother. Scott will not give him the space though. He will not give him the position when if he gets close enough. They will have to battle for it, and they will battle for it. At Rizzler liveried Mercedes. Fastest lap now, 1:37.2. The times are coming down. He's within 3.3 seconds now of SD. This is going to get interesting. This is going to get interesting. Will those tyres hold on though, because they're very similarly worn, and you know those mediums aren't going to wear as quick as these softs. Few brake bias changes might need to happen here. May need to move his brake bias slightly further back to level that tyre wear off. 3.1 seconds now, he's pushing on. SD losing a little bit of time to Smiley here as well. Smiley's starting to extend in front of him. Oh, Marion. Hi, chat. Hello, mate. How are you? Good to see you. Boosted out the front here, 20 seconds out clear. He can just cruise it home at the minute. Doesn't need to do anything silly. Doesn't need to push. Had an absolute nightmare in the Sprint Cup last night. Didn't finish the race after a couple of incidents, so he'll be over the moon to get back here and take a victory in the feature. I'm new. Hopefully you'll enjoy the racing. We've had some good racing tonight, and we always have some good racing here. Welcome to ERL. Smiley now has lost a bit of time to SD there, and has picked up damage again. Smiley with damage here. SD will be like a shark smelling blood in the water. He'll see that Smiley's starting to gradually come back to him, and he'll be pushing super hard. His brother now within 2.3 seconds of him. He might smell double blood here. You can see he's closing his brother in. He'll be able to see that they're both gaining on Smiley as well. I'm an F2 champ, congratulations, well done. Here we go. Smiley with that damage, that's going to do him no favours at all. SD's going to be pushing on here to get onto the back of him, but he's also going to be extremely wary of Specs, his brother, behind him. Specs pushing like an absolute madman, has managed to get the gap down to 1.7 in this lap. Here we go. We're going to get a race here at the end. 6 laps to go here. And this is all closing up at the front. SD within 1.3 of Smiley. Specs within 1.2 of ST. This is going to be a 3-way battle for second very shortly. None of these drivers are going to give each other an inch. Hopefully it all stays fair. Specs is tyre wear now. Starting to the softs. The other Dutch guy. Another Dutch guy. We have lots of Dutch guys in here. A lot of tyre squeal from Smiley there. That front damage going to be doing him no favours at all. SD right onto the back of him here. SD will know, needs to be patient here. He doesn't need to force the issue too much. He's got a few laps left here to plan his move. Does not want to mess up here, get damage, let his brother in. Specs now within 1.4 of these guys. His tyre wear has switched the other way though. I would actually say now SD is in the stronger position than Specs. Dad in 5th in no man's land now. Filthy in 6th. Honda in 7th. Panda 8th. Gloss worked his way up to 9th, has front damage. Asriel, after running that hard strategy, is now down into 11th with Air just making the move on him. Apex 12th. Harsh 13th, Bibby 14th, Highfield in 15th. Not a good weekend for Highfield. Doesn't enjoy this track at all. You're now in F1. Congratulations, well done. Good effort to get into F1 there. Here we go. Boosted 22 seconds in front. This is where the battle is. Boosted cruising out in front. Started in 14th position. Worked his way up there. Good strategy calls, good driving. Was not happy after yesterday with the Sprint Cup. Said his car wasn't going to be competitive, but has proved himself wrong here by sauntering away into the lead comfortably. Smiley here still managing to stay nearly a second ahead of Scott. We've got Specs now. Oh, Specs has spun. Tried to take too much out of that corner to get his brother then. He needs to get going again here. Is he going to be able to get back on track? He spins round again. He spins again. Dad's past him. Absolutely heartbreaking for Specs here. Could see second place. He could see it. He could touch second place there. And just try to take a little bit too much when he's trying to get his brother. He's now got Filthy right into the back of him. Filthy on much softer, much fresher, soft tyres. So this has gone from nearly a potential second place to Specs to now he's holding on for dear life. He's down into 6th now. What's going on up here? Smiley still holding on with this damage. SD just behind him. SD's going to want to get this move done now. He knows these laps are whittling down now. He's going to have to make a move soon. Are we going to see one at the end of this straight? Is he going to get a clean run? Just gets away with missing the barrier there. He is losing time though. He has lost a bit of time there on the run. Flames looking incredible popping out the side of that Aston Martin. The brake disc glowing red as these guys absolutely hammer the brakes into that final corner. Here we go, SD breaking into this corner here. Smiley's managed to extend here. Managed to extend his lead over SD a little bit here. SD all over the curbs there, into the gravel. Does well to keep it no damage and without losing it. I think that has sealed the deal now for Smiley. Unless he does something stupid, he is going to have second position here because I cannot see SD pulling that time in at all. 4 seconds now. Marin. Oh, Marin, yes, bro. 24 seconds now, the lead for Boosted. Smiley now, comfortably in second. That is a lot of pressure taken off his shoulders now. He can breathe a sigh of release there. Nobody wants to see the driver crash behind them, but your ganger leave. Okay, see you soon, Marin. You take care, mate. Nice to see you in the chat. Here he goes, Smiley. Oh, nearly runs himself onto the grass there. Momentary lapse of concentration. SD still in third now, no man's land. He's just going to have to bring it on home in third position now. Can't see him going anywhere forwards or backwards. Dad into fourth now, good race from Dad. Had a few little incidents, bit of damage, but he'll be enjoying that. Filthy into fifth here. Filthy's going to be pushing on here, trying to catch up to the back of Dad. He's going to want to close him in here. Slightly better tyres. Specs now has managed to keep himself in sixth position. That front left is looking extremely worn. He now has Honda onto the back of him with a lot better tyre wear after that mistake. Specs will be so harsh on himself for that mistake. Super unlucky. Just tried to take a little bit too much to get through on SD. Panda in 8th here. Air in 9th. Apex 10th. Azrael into 11th. Gloss in 12th on another fresh set of softs. I'd imagine Gloss has been through the pits a fair few times here. Harge in 13th. Bibby 14th. Highfield in 15th. Boosted onto the one from last lap now. 26 seconds clear of Smiley, who in turn is 5 seconds clear now of SD. Have we had another mistake from ST? Yes, we've had a mistake from SD here. He's been into the wall through the chicane. Look at that damage on the front of that car, and look how close Dad is onto the back of him, and Filthy is onto Dad. We are going to have a battle here for the podium. So the two Scottish brothers, SD and Specs, don't seem like they want to get a podium here. Both of them making mistakes late on in this race, which is allowing other drivers in. Dad is going to be pushing like an absolute madman here to get onto the back of SD. He's going to have seen that. He may have seen that small collision with the wall. He'd have seen how fast he caught SD up, so he'll know that there was an incident in front. He'll probably know he's got damage from how quick he's catching him. Filthy, absolutely onto the back of Dad as well. Fresher tyres as well. Filthy's going to be smelling a podium here. We'll stay on with Dad here. He's nearly within a second of SD. SD has not got a lot of fuel left either. He's got enough to last him to the end of the race, and he's ran wide again. We've seen him off there a few times this race. I don't know whether this is line or whether he's making a mistake and pushing himself out there. Here we go. Let's go on board with Dad here. See if he can make a move on SD. SD looks like he's really struggling now. Hemorrhaging time now. He looks like he's suffering with that damage and with that tyre wear. Car doesn't look very comfortable. Here we go. He manages to get through there cleanly though. Dad not really being able to make much of a difference now. This is going to be a last lap dash for third position here. Here we go. Dad's going to try and line this up. Filthy's right in the mirror as well. You can see the lights of that Nissan GTR. The Nismo behind. Stalking Dad here. Here we go. Which way is Dad going to go here? He's going to want to dart to the left, but SD, we know, will hold that left-hand line. Dad manages to get through and takes third position here. Dad onto the podium for the time being on the last lap. He just needs to hold himself through this lap. Dad will also win the GT class. Is that... I thought we lost SD then behind. He made a mistake. Filthy now is right onto the back of SD. These guys are pushing like mad for this podium. Neither of these guys want to give this position up. Slight mistake there from Filthy. Loses a bit of time. Just a bit too much throttle, a bit too eager. He knows he's going to have the advantage here on SD. You can see he's catching him. So he's going to be desperate to get in there. Here we go. He's going to get a run on him. He's going to get a run on SD here. Definitely. He pulls to the left. SD will brake late here. I know that for a fact. SD will brake late here to stay on the inside. backs out of it. Filthy up into 4th, so SD's lost 2 positions in this last lap because of that bit of damage on the front of his car, and because these guys have managed to manage the tyres. Here we go. Are we going to see a last ditch attempt at a pass here from Filthy? Dad is leading that GT. Is the leading driver in the GT category. Filthy is second in the GT category in this race. Here we go. We get on with Boosted. Boosted's already crossed the line. Sorry, Boosted, for not giving you your moment on the line, but these guys are battling so closely. Smiley third. Smiley second, sorry. Dad third. Filthy fourth. SD fifth. Honda sixth. Spec seventh. Let's get back and just show Boosted on his cooldown lap. Sorry for not getting you across the line, Boosted. Those guys were battling and you were 33 seconds in front. Phenomenal race from the back. Perfect strategy call. Great drive. Congratulations. I think that's his first win with us, Scott. That is his first win with ERL, and it was well deserved. Drove phenomenally. You can't fault that at all. Smiley in second. Dad into third. He'd be happy with that. Filthy into 4th. SD in 5th will be gutted with that mistake he made. Lost himself a podium. He'll be devastated with that. Honda into 6th. Specs, another driver, will be devastated with the mistake he made when he was right there. He does have the fastest lap of the race. Air in 8th. Apex 9th. Asriel 10th. Panda 11th. Gloss giving us some donuts in 12th. He hasn't actually made it across the line yet, but giving us a little show there. Ours in 13th, Bibby 14th, Highfield in 15th. What a race that was. Phenomenal from Boosted. He just came from nowhere, really. He just took his time, worked his way up to the front, and then just his gap was absolutely massive by the end. Let's have a look through these results then. We've got Boosted, 100% phenomenal drive. Great drive with a 33 second lead over Smiley by the end. Dad, the leading GT driver, in 3rd. Filthy 4th. SD 12 into 5th. Lost 2 positions on the last lap. Honda 6th. Specs in 7th. Our early leader. 8th is Air. 9th Apex. Asriel in 10th. Panda 11th. Gloss 12th. Harsh 13th. Bibby 14th. And Highfield 15th. Congratulations to all the guys there. Saw some really good racing. And thank you to everyone that tuned in. Hopefully we'll see you all again next week. Take care, guys.